Hello, Frugal Force. Once again, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty, and today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm going to do a rapid-fire review rather than an in-depth review on a single issue, because I read so many, so I just thought, you know what, I'll do something a little different. By the way, if you enjoy these videos, please be sure to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you don't mind. And if you really want to help this channel out too, you can go down the info bar down below where we have a Streamlabs OBS link where you can click on it and give a one-time donation, or even join our Patreon, become a special Patreon member, get special Patreon videos and other exclusive content. That material helps go back into the channel to help make it better, and it really does help and support us. We've been giving away a lot of comic books to kids lately to help them read and boost reading, especially for during their summer break. Alright, with that said, the first issue I want to talk about is Flash number 72. It's chapter 3 out of the year 1. So year 1 continues. Things are not looking pretty for the Flash, who just got his scarlet butt handed to him by the Turtle the last issue. But in this issue, he comes back fighting and coming back into it. We're also going to get to see Leonard's art, which is an interesting thing too. Overall, the art's pretty good. The story continues to be interesting. Not a bad way to go, if you ask me. So, just for another bit of record, the book is written by Joshua Williamson and Howard Porter are the storytellers. So Howard Porter, I believe, is the artist, and Hi-Fi is the colorist, and Steve Wands is the lettering. And overall, it's a pretty solid book. I would give it a B, so if you like Flash, this is probably a good one to check out. Alright, now let's jump to Red Hood Outlaw, issue number 35. Once again, we're joining Jason Todd in Gotham City, which he's pretending to be a master criminal in the underworld. Well, now he sort of is, right? But, you know, that's his way of making sure everything stays in balance. Because Jason Todd is not really good, but he's not evil. He's all about keeping the balance and keeping things with justice. And this issue is definitely an interesting one. It's written by Scott Lobdell, and art was by Pete Woods. I would say this is justice with a sword and a crowbar. I will say I wasn't really big into the new outfit change with him. I'm still not quite liking it as much as the original with him, but you know what, it is what it is. Red Hood and Outlaw number 35 is interesting. It has some more story building to it, and it has action as well, and an ex-girlfriend to boot to fight with. And a nice surprise, good ending. Overall, the art's good, the story's interesting. I'd give this issue a B, so if you enjoy Jason Todd, Red Hood Outlaw, this is definitely not an issue to skip. So next, let's jump into none other than Supergirl, which I think is one of the sleeper hits of DC. People just aren't giving Supergirl enough attention. Yeah, the TV show is nothing but an SJW train wreck of agendas thrown in your face, but the Supergirl comic series is really not that. It's a good character, an interesting storyline. But I will say, if you're not into this big Superman crossover right now, this might not be for you. I'm not a big fan of the Superman storyline right now, but this Supergirl tie-in I think is very good. So anyway, the Superman family must unite to banish Rogol Zaar once and for all. And of course, you know, Supergirl not only has to make sure Rogol Zaar doesn't unite with his axe at all costs, or staff, you know, that changes into an axe, if you will, but he also has to deal with, you know, realizing that, hey, Superboy is not a 10-year-old boy anymore. What's going on here in this intergalactic war? So anyway, this is justice with a, this would be, not justice, I'm sorry, this is a very pissed off Supergirl. And you know what? I like it. I like seeing this mad side of Supergirl, how she is mad about what happened, you know, in her past, as this storyline reveals what's really happened to them, and realized how they've been misled, and they didn't really know what happened to Krypton and everything else all before. And this is showing a side of, you know, a character and how they deal with it. We also have a fight with Rogol Zaar over the axe, or you can call it the staff, whatever you want, that changes into axe. And you know what? It really makes me want to have Kara have a Thor hammer. If anybody's deserving a hammer of a Thor, this character could use one. The art is mixed. It has two different artists doing it, and I will say some of it is a lot better than the others. So I'm going to say mixed, but I really like one of the artist takes, which I think is Sean Parsons, if I'm not mistaken. Kevin McGuire's art was okay, but Sean, I think, really knocked it out of the park. This story was written by Mark Andreyko, and I think he did a really good job taking crossover and making it something interesting. Because, you know, sometimes with crossover events, the writers are sort of forced to write a crossover issue to tie into an event, and it can be challenging. It could disrupt your story, but this lines up really well and works out really good. So just like Superboy says, let's go kick some, what is it, I can't even say that name, syntheline butt, but he uses other words because, hey, hormones, and he's a young man. Overall, this issue, I'm going to say, especially being a crossover, you don't have to read all the other Superman stuff to understand it, so that's always good. Once again, I'm going to give this one an issue a B as well. So if you're enjoying Supergirl or you think you want to check it out, you might want to check out Supergirl. You might want to make sure you get to the beginning of the story arc, though, so you're not left behind. But this is a series I think deserves more attention. Alright, issue number 12 of Superman takes us to the last issue I'm going to review for this rapid fire segment, and once again, it's continuing on with the House of L storyline. It's written by Brian Michael Bendis. I know, not the greatest change. I really like Tomasi a lot better. I think he brought a lot more of the family dynamic than Bendis has, but I will say this last issue here so far doesn't make me absolutely hate it, so I'm going to give him that. So we have another Superman Supergirl crossover as well, and the art is by Ivan Reyes, and I will say I really like the art in this issue. It's pretty cool. So anyway, the House of L seems to be against everyone. As Superman, Jor-El, Supergirl, and Superboy face intergalactic attacks from Ruggles-Zod, General Zod, and our armada of alien warriors and assassins. And during this issue, General Zod has a little chat with Superman, and some more things are being revealed. So in this issue, we do get more substance. And I will say there is a whole lot of overlap between this and Supergirl 31. So if you only have money for one of these, you can pick either one, and you should have a good enough idea of exactly what's going on. Now, one of the things I tend to wonder, I find interesting now is, once again, Clark is learning more about the fate of Krypton in this issue as well. But once again, this is where, I have issues. I don't always like when writers think they can go back and dabble with history and change things. It's sort of like when they write a story with classic characters, they get the toys, but you need to put the toys back in the toy box. But when you change the whole background of the characters, it makes it really impossible to put it back to where it was in the first place. So once again here, we're getting more supposedly about the truth behind Krypton's destruction in this issue too. We also learn more about this group, the Circle, and that Jor-El was a part of it. Now, one thing I do find interesting is Superman at one point is thinking, what would Batman do? Well, don't read Injustice then, right? So anyway, we get more of that Circle and that conspiracy too. And we have to wonder, will we see a Superman-Zod team up? It doesn't appear to going to happen by the way that talk went about, but it does leave room for, maybe they'll end up having to team up. Who knows what we'll do. Also, do we really need Superman's father's legacy tarnished? That's something, once again, I'm not real big into. I think we're diving too much into the past and playing a little fast and loose with the past of the character. So overall, once again, I will say, though, this was actually a pretty good book. I think Superman picking up a little bit here. I really was not into this storyline, the House of L, at all, but I'm starting to like it more now. The artwork is really solid in it. I'm sounding repetitious today when I give grading today, but I'm going to give this one a B as well. Nothing to hurry up and run out necessarily and have to get. And if you had to choose between this and Supergirl, if you're already reading Supergirl, I'd go with the Supergirl. But both of them do a very good job of covering what's going to happen, so you don't need them both. All right. Well, thank you for watching this video and listening. I greatly appreciate it. Let me know your comments below if you choose to take and read any of these books, and let me know your thoughts on them too. I'd be greatly interested in hearing it. And until next time, keep it frugal.